revealing God's self to us. I think I was more excited than some folks. But that's okay. So God reveals God's self in really weird ways sometimes. Sometimes it's the stuff life throws at you. Sometimes it's the conversations you have. And yeah, let's go there. After church, we had a conversation. It was our annual congregational business meeting. So this week, money has been on my mind. Ain't that a song? My mind on my money and my money on my mind. Woo! Look at me, I'm on a roll today. So that happened, and then, I'm on the governing board of MCC. So there are other things that I get to talk about with other congregations, other people. And money's a thing. Everybody wants to talk about money, money, money. But ain't nobody got any, apparently. So last week in our own meeting, we ended up having a situation happen where we had people who had strong opinions about how it's supposed to be money-wise. And then we had people that didn't really have strong opinions. They were just like, I'm doing what I can, leave me alone. And then we had the people in the middle who were like, I see your point, and I'm just here. Am I right? Is that how it felt? Okay. So, because there's all this money stuff, and then it didn't stop there, because then we have our government. We have the government shutdown. We have all the people that we know that are being impacted by that, who just got little pay stubs that have big old zeros on them on Friday. Why you even waste the time printing that? Don't send me no zero. I don't need it. So, money, money, money. It was on my brain. And I started thinking about, okay, so we say here at Thrive, we follow Jesus. If Jesus said do it, then Thrive is usually all over it. So I'm like, Jesus, dude, what you said about the money? And actually, y'all should probably look at that. Jesus says a few things about money. Most of them not things that we think. Who heard that Jesus demanded that people pay their 10%? Anybody been taught that? Jesus ain't say it. That's not Jesus. I mean, it's in the Bible, but it wasn't Jesus that said it. So, the thing I got stuck on, Proverbs 23:7. Anybody know what that says right off the top of your head? It tells us that as we think in our heart, that's what we are. Like, we can put on a show and we can show the world this, but what's in here is really who we are. So when you take that and you apply it to all them pretty Benjamins, what happens? There's a quote by Jonathan Swift. He says, a wise person has money on their mind, not in their heart. What are we making our priorities? What matters the most? Which leads me to today's scripture. Mark chapter 12, verses 41 through 44. Most of you will recognize this story. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a fraction of a penny. Anybody got a penny in your pocket? It's worth less than your penny. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, I tell you the truth. This poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on. Now, many people take that and go, see, it don't matter. Even when you're dirt poor, you're supposed to put everything in the pot. I take that and I look at it differently. If you really look at that chapter, that whole chapter is about money. There's a parable at the beginning that comes down to money and heart condition. Then there's the greatest commandment. They're testing Jesus with all kinds of crap, right? Are we supposed to pay our taxes? Well, what's on the coin? That's Caesar. Then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. So what is God's? If Benjamin's on the money, And that goes back to the U.S. Treasury because you got to pay your tithes, and that's where that goes. What is God's?
Your heart.
Boom. Your heart. See, we like to sing, here's my heart, God speak what's true, la, la, la. But then we get to that part, here's my life. That's different. Your heart is a part of your life, but when you step full into it and go, here's my life, that means everything. That means the way you think about people, the way you think about things, the way you think about money, money, money. How many of you were taught money's the root of all evil? A lot of hands went up, Facebook. I'm just going to help y'all. Hands went up on that one. Now let me tell you something else. No, money is not the root of evil. It's when you let money corrupt your heart that is evil. From your heart comes the evil. It isn't the money. It isn't the piece of paper. It isn't the coin. It's what you let it do to you as a person. Now back to the widow and her offering. Another thing it says in that chapter, Jesus says these hypocrites, these Pharisees, they stand up, they make a big show of everything, and what they're really all about is devouring a widow's house. So we have some things going on. There's some social justice messages in this chapter. Jesus is saying, how dare you take from these people? How dare you reduce them to a place where all they have is mere pennies? How dare you push them to the edges? And then you stand up and you're all holy. What's wrong with this picture? Which is why when the woman comes forward and goes, yo, Jesus, here what I got. Well, she didn't really say Jesus, but you know what I'm saying. She gave it all. But what defines all? How do you decide what it is that you're supposed to give? And is this part of this chapter telling you everything? You got to put it all in. You don't get to keep nothing. You got to be poor. No. What do we know? The Bible told us what? Jesus came to give us life. And what? Life abundantly. Does Jesus want there to be inequality in wealth distribution? We're stepping into some murky stuff. Everybody get ready. Does Jesus want us to be a nation of peoples who continue to push people to the edges? Does the Spirit of God want us to be people that go, oh, you ain't got no money to put in the offering? Too bad. Guess you ain't getting into heaven. Okay, first of all, that ain't in there either. It don't say you better put something in that plate to get through the gate. It don't say that. I just made that up and I like it. Anyway, it ain't in there. It ain't in there. What does it say? The greatest commandment, and it's in this chapter. The greatest commandment, the completion of all the law. It's the completion of all the law, okay? Even that Old Testament one that said bring your 10% and put it in. The completion of all the law is love one another. Love is the completion. Now, because money was on my mind this week, I also read about what makes people give. What makes people give money? Why they want to write a check? Why they want to dip into the pocket? How do you encourage people to do that? Because, since it seems to be a problem, how do you motivate folks? What is it about? Do you know what it's about? Vision. People have to believe in what you're doing. They have to believe in your vision. So start off, what is your vision? Because you know what else the Bible says? Where there ain't no vision, the people perish. Which means, like Kate wanted to talk about last week, we're going to shut the door and we're going to lock it and we're going to be done. We're going to walk away, right? That's what you said last week. Because where there is no vision, it dies. What are we giving people to believe in? What is it that draws people here? What is it that we offer as a church? And are we sharing that? And are we consistently sharing it? And is every person sharing it or only two people? And then another person is like, well, I go to that church and it's all right. Yeah, that makes me want to go. Sure, I'll write you a check. about it? Why do you come here? What is it about Thrive that matters to you? What is it about these people that matter to you? And now we're getting to what I say our vision is and what we're supposed to be about. God first. How many times did we say that in 2018? We're just going to keep on saying it. God first. What comes second? People. What comes third? Things. Including money. We ain't going to focus on the money. God, our relationship, see, it's all about relationships. Relationship with God, and then our relationships with people. We're going to love. Christy, that's the same message you preach almost every week. I know. It's crazy. That one little word, impacts everything. That's who we are. That's who we want to be. And that's our message. And if you're out in the streets and you're talking about Thrive MCC and you ain't being able to say, them people know how to love people, then we need to fix some things. Right. Either on our side or on your side. We have to fix things. Because that's who we are. And if you're a member of this church, that's who you are. And that's your message. We love everybody. We don't care. We don't care what color your skin is. We don't care who you love, how you love them, what they look like, because sometimes we can you believe she got with that person? Because we rude. Well, not us, but, people in general. We don't care. There's no rule for who can be in here. If you want to know God, and you want to be in relationship with some lunatics like this one, then Thrive is for you. This is where you should be. And if any person in these chairs today, if you don't feel loved here, come talk to me. Come talk to your board. Because we got to fix some stuff. Yeah. Because it's about your heart. It ain't about the offering plate. It ain't about your wallet. It's about your heart. Because as you are in your heart, that's who you are on the outside. And that's who you are portraying to the world. You can't let money or lack thereof steal your joy. You are still who God called you to be, no matter if you got $1 million in the bank or 2 pennies in the bank. That's right. You are still God's chosen child. You are still here for a purpose. And I don't care who quits you. I don't care who thinks they know more than you. I don't care if they think that because they got more education than you, they better than you. Tell them to shut up and sit down. Because if they ain't loving people, then they've missed the whole point and they ain't getting it right. Yeah. To my people last week who were very adamant, y'all better put your 10% in the plate. I love y'all. But don't say it no more. It's not our job to tell people what they can and can't contribute. It's our job to love them. It's our job to say we're here for you. It's our job to put God first, people second, and then things, including money. That preacher standing there talking about she want to be broke. No, I don't want to be broke. But I want you to remember what matters the most. And what matters the most is how you treat one another. How you treat the world that you encounter. And it matters if you believe in the vision. We're only supposed to love. I'm not supposed to call Yvette up. You need to put $5 in that plate tomorrow, or else you ain't going to sing in the band next week. That's not my job. You know whose job it is to convey to your heart what is required of you? The Spirit of God. And in Jeremiah chapter 17, that's what it says. God searches our hearts. God searches our hearts. God knows us as we really are, not as who we pretend to be. And God never quits us. God never gives up. So how dare we give up on God's love that we're called to walk in and called to use as our flashlight, our beacon that fixes broken people living in a broken world. It ain't about your wallet. It's about your heart. I'm going to say it one more time. It ain't about your wallet. It's about your heart. And your worth to God does not depend upon how much you put in that plate. Your worth to God does not depend on what anybody thinks about what you put in that plate. God says you're awesome, amazing, wonderful, beautiful, precious, and loved. And nowhere that I read did it say, if you give me some green stuff. It just is, people. And you just have to accept it. And you have to own that. And then you have to let that love and God's Spirit direct you on all the other things, including the offering plate. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I did read that scripture and think, wonder if we could set a camera up to the offering plate as people are putting, wonder if we could put like a little webcam on the plate as it circles you. And then we see who put what in the plate. I bet some people would like that. They like to see never mind. My brain just went there. Would you like it if you were videoed and how much you put in? Would you like it if me and the board just kind of sat down and started going, who given? What they put in? Did you see that? That was just a 25-cent piece. Would that make you comfortable? Would you feel loved? Would you feel welcomed? Would you feel a part of the family? Or would you feel judged? Which one? Judged. Okay, judged. And whose job is judging? It ain't mine. And what do it say? Judge not. Why? Lest ye be judged. I don't want you judging me, so I'm not going to judge you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our hearts right. Now, this is more than just nodding at me and going, yeah, okay, we're going to do that. Because the truth is, we do have a mission. And the second truth is, missions cost money. So we're going to get our hearts right. And we're going to figure out, God, am I really putting you first? And then am I putting people second? And then am I worrying about money? Am I really walking all the stuff we say we're walking? We're going to get our hearts right. And then, in the privacy of your own prayer closet or wherever you do your meditating, your praying, your whatever, you're going to say, Holy, am I giving? Do I have anything to give? And give me wisdom. Because that's the key. Wisdom in your giving. You can't just give and then not feed your children or your spouse or yourself. You can't just give and then not be able to put lights and all of the stuff you need in your house. Wisdom. The next time money comes up, I want you to remember. Woo, that's God calling. I want you to remember. It really ain't about money. It's about a heart condition. It's about us knowing that we serve a God that is faithful. God is faithful. And there's another place that says, God will give you the desires of your heart. Everything you need. Ask. God first. People. Then things. Everything hinges on the first thing. Because it is the most important. Everything is found in the first thing. In God. And all the people said,
Amen.